Uche Nwaneri. It's been reported out of a West Lafayette, Indiana newspaper where his wife is from. They were visiting, and Uche passed away on Friday. Late at night, he was found unresponsive, and they are still finding out exactly what went wrong, but the thought is it may be a possible heart attack, according to the article. On the 38-year-old Uche Nwaneri, who played offensive line for a long time, one of the great personalities here on that offensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And on that note, and unfortunately a very sad note, I bring in our buddy Maurice Jones-Drew, who was really good buddies with Uche Nwaneri, very close to him. And man, oh man, you just shared that news with me before you came on, Mojo. I'm sorry to hear about your friend and former teammate and a friend of many and a big Jags fan. He'd be so excited about this Jags run right now.
Oh man, yeah, it's tough. You know, it's scary at the same time too. Obviously, Uche being 38 and possible heart attack. And I got the call from Eugene Monroe, who texted me early this morning, and so it's definitely hitting our team. And I know the rounds will kind of go around a little bit. And Uche was more than a personality, man. Uche was very bright. He was very intelligent. He understood the game of football. He understood life. And it's just sad to see him gone so soon. A couple months ago, we were talking about trying to get a trip with all of us together and get somewhere and hang out a little bit. Because obviously, you guys know as you retire, guys kind of go their separate lives. And it's just sad, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. Uche, you mentioned the personality, but a good player who played in the league for a while and also well-rounded guy. I think he did some art stuff along the way, but also, didn't he, when he got out, he started like a tattoo parlor in Atlanta? Wasn't that the case, Mojo?
Yeah, he had a tattoo parlor, a restaurant, then he went from there to doing podcasts and he was a gamer as well. I mean, Uche was definitely interesting, and he great guy to be around, great guy to play with, to go to battle with. We had some, it's sad. Again, like it's sad, just like Vincent Manawai a couple years ago who passed away in Hawaii. So, man, it's just, I hope everyone takes care of themselves, because it definitely comes quickly.
Yeah. And, again, we don't have a lot of details, but he was up in Indiana. That's where his wife and family is. And so they had driven up to, according to this article, and he was found unresponsive late Friday night. And possible heart attack is what is being reported and said. So best thoughts and prayers and to the Uche Nwaneri family, of course. And you met, man, he was an outspoken. I kind of smile when I think about Uche Nwaneri because he was outspoken, man. He believed what he believed. He didn't mind saying it. He said it how it is. That's how he played. That's how he was in the locker room when we covered him. And again, 104 games actually in his NFL career. That's a hell of a career, Mojo. That's a long time in the NFL from 2007 to 2014.
Oh yeah, no question, man. He did everything you wanted to do. So funny. I remember there were times when we'd be in the huddle and he changed the protection sometimes. Brad Meester couldn't see something and he'd be able to change it. Like he was a great guy. He always kept it light. He kept it fun, but he was also serious about his job. And, again, for a guy to play, it was a 5th round pick. Ends up starting a bunch of games for us, being a staple to our offensive line. I think he finished in Dallas in his hometown, which was, something a lot of us wanted to do that weren't from Florida or had a place where we had an NFL team. And he was one that was able to go to Dallas and finish in front of his family. So I know he was really excited about that as well.
This news just in the last 10 minutes or so to us. Mojo actually shared that with me. He heard this morning from Eugene Monroe. And again, best thoughts with Uche Nwaneri's family. And now there's no good way here to segue into what's going on here in Jacksonville, Maurice Jones-Drew, but I'm going to try to do it anyway here on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. There's again, I kind of said it, Uche would love what's going on right now. He's a big Jags fan like you, even after he stopped playing for him, wanted to see this organization do well, and here we are. Speaking of locker rooms, man, I just told you in the break that we had, and we had Maurice Jones-Drew on earlier, who had told me about the passing of your former teammate Uche Nwaneri. Sudden news, sad news. If you're just jumping in, word out of Lafayette, Indiana's Uche, who played for the Jags for 7 years on the offensive line, passed away at the age of 38. Pretty stunning news, Rashean. I know you know him well.
Yeah, very stunning. Heartbroken, actually, and kind of lost for words. I send prayers and thoughts with his family. Uche was an amazing guy, man. Smile, people always talk about my smile. His smile was even bigger. Like he always had energy. He wore his emotions on his sleeve, so you always knew what he was thinking, and you can appreciate that. He was a team guy. He was a family guy. So to his wife and kids, man, blessings, and we're with you in this tough time. Like I said, lost for words. He was a brother. Will always be a brother. Still is a brother of mine. So this one hurts. Like it's sad to see us go early. So just prayers to the family.
How much respect do you guys have for one another? You played a long time in the league. Uche played 104 games, Rashean. That's a long time in the NFL.
Yeah, we have a ton of respect for each other because we know the grind. We've been athletes all our lives, so we know that it's the next man up, and someone is trying to fight for your position and take your position. So anytime you can fight and stay longer and play longer and have a long career, it's respectable. It's respectable amongst everybody, whether you meet a guy or you don't ever meet a guy, and you just play against him and y'all battle 2 times a year against each other. It's just respect amongst that brotherhood.
Well, I told Maurice Jones-Drew this, and it's really hard to segue out of the loss of a former teammate and former player, and everybody feeling that with Uche Nwaneri today and the news of his passing. But I also say, like Maurice Jones-Drew, Uche, big cheerleader for this football team, wanted to see him do well, wanted to see this franchise do well. You could tell he carried that pride, and so this would be a fun week for him too.